Gonna wait for some people to get in, but before some people join in, I want to tell you guys who we're live with right now. We're live with Anderson Morgan from the Morgan Group, and you can check him out at. Go ahead, drop your links, Anderson.
We're on Facebook as the Morgan Group Marketing. We're on Instagram as the Morgan GRP. You'll see this logo, TMG with the cross sideways underneath and the name Morgan, obviously Anderson Morgan. That's me. We're
So,
working on YouTube. We're not quite where you at with 100,000 followers plus, but man, I got to get time to make that.
hey man, you'll be there in no time, Anderson. So, Anderson, How did tell us about the Morgan Group? What is the Morgan Group, and how did it get started? What was it originally?
Wow. Well, honestly speaking, it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I registered the name the Morgan Group, and the whole idea and concept behind it was marketing. That's what my degree is in marketing and advertising. My specialty comes from that background, and what I wanted to do was come up with a product. So I knew I needed a product before I could just talk to people about marketing because they wouldn't listen to me. The product that I wanted to come up with was embroidery. So I wanted to give them something that they could wear that would make a difference and change their perception of their business by being in a uniform. So marketing, yes, was first, but the embroidery was my product. And eventually we'll come back around to helping people be able to market and advertise their business through proper planning.
Amazing. So, obviously, marketing is important to you, as you mentioned. How important do you think it is for other businesses to have logos and stuff like that for their business?
Man, I think to not have a logo and not have colors that work with your audience to meet the needs of who you're trying to match up with, to do that, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's almost like being in business and you can't take a credit card.
Right.
Pointless. It's pointless.
So, Anderson, why don't you, for the people joining, as you come in, give this video a thumbs up so more people can be notified that we're live right now. And Anderson, why don't you we're before we go any further, I know people are gonna want to see your setup because we're seeing stuff in the background and we're curious. What do you have going on right here? What First of all, okay, so why don't you show us what you want to show us? Of course, we want to see the machines, but show us what you want to show us right now.
So this is my bodyguard on guard. Her name is Ebony. She stands in the same position all day. She never gets tired. She watches over the shop. No, just joking. So look, when you come in, we're in a small shop, man. This my motorcycle shop is actually next door called Bagger Boys. So I took the business and kind of split it in half. So Tremaine, say hello to everybody. This is Tremaine. We call her Trap, but her name is Tremaine. Tremaine helps run the embroidery machines. She is employee of the month. She doesn't realize she's the only employee, but she's employee of the month of the year. She just set up the year. So we do operate with the single head. This is the single head, obviously from Ricoma. We use the SWD machine with the extended arm because I wanted to be able to do flags and all kind of things. I use this machine primarily for sew outs and one offs. I do quite a bit of work for some online stores, and our online stores, they orders come in almost daily where we do patches, we do shirts, just one off stuff that we offer. So this machine functions for that. Now,
Now,
the very
wait,
first,
pause
go
right
ahead.
there for a second. When you first got that machine, it had a regular size arm. Did you order that arm in addition to attach to it, or how'd that
I
work?
did. I did. Actually, this was not the first machine I bought. The first machine I bought, I did something crazy. I bought a six head as my first machine. But when I purchased this machine, I did get the extended arm and the table that goes along with it because to me, the value is in being able to do large stuff in single application, so that you can offer patches, do 20, 30 patches at one time and not tie up the six head machine that you could be using for production for something else. That was
Okay.
the value in how I saw this machine used.
Hmm.
Now, Ricoma thinks it's absolutely crazy, but if you go to your info, you'll see that I have over number of jobs, 20 million stitches and jobs done on this machine, and I've had this machine for about 8 months.
Wow.
Um, so we run it up.
Right. Right. Right.
Um, but it wasn't my first machine. I
Yeah.
got into this business. I played with the numbers, and to me, I said, in order to make the money that I'm trying to achieve, I need to get a six head.
Okay.
So if it takes 15 minutes to do this beanie, okay,
Mm-hmm.
so if I did it over here, if I did 15 minutes of beanie and I got 100 beanies to do, man, I got a lot of time to do with just 15 minutes at a time. Y'all do the math.
100%. Yeah.
But if I can do six at a time, then I'm reducing my time by six.
And you're able
So
to pump out
every
more, able to pump out more
yeah,
volume, thus making
absolutely.
more money.
So every half an hour, I'm doing 12 pieces, easy. Now,
So,
what I
so okay.
go ahead. What I didn't realize is once you get a six head, guess what you got to get? You got to get six of every thread.
6 of every thread,
You got to
6
get
of
six
every
of
hoop,
every thread, and then if you get in like we got in, you got to get six of every hoop. So
and
as you can
actually,
see,
actually, actually, you got to get 12.
yes, yes, we have 18 for each machine. And the reason we have 18 is, as you see, Tremaine is lined up. She's got one running, she's
And
got
one
one in
ready to
the
go.
hole, and we got another set on the wall ready to go. Right?
Uh,
We
yeah.
did the same thing from. I don't want to say the name because I'm not sponsored by any of these people, but these hoops, at the end of the day, they are magical, but they are expensive. But they, when you justify the time savings, when you use these boards, as you know, these boards, we got two sets of the boards. Those
Hmm.
boards are the way to go. And then my second machine was the three head
Okay.
because then I realized quickly that the six head could make me money, but you can only run one job on the six head per time, right? So if
Right.
I got two jobs going, then I could take my three head and run the second job. Now, I don't know how many people are, on the religion thing, but I am. But at the end of the day, you ever heard of the bird in the bush, the ram in the bush? When God has a ram, we got a ram in the bush. So I got another six head machine at my house. It's an older one, but we
Right.
got to get that moved up here. So totally, we really have 16 heads total.
Wow. 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 Wow.
16 heads, but that's
Oh,
four machines. So if you look at
right.
it from the perspective of jobs, you can run four jobs at one time. You can run something on your online store. You could run the three head for smaller jobs or things
Mhm.
that you need to do in sets of threes. And then you can run the six head, for six. This six head is set up for left chest. The other six head is set up for the bigger hoop size. I don't change them. I don't
Okay.
change them. They're dedicated to that. And it's all about efficiency. All
Okay.
about efficiency. If I'm running hats, I do hats one day a week. And I change this six head out to just hats.
Now,
Now,
how are you work? You're working every day. How many days a week?
my family's probably listening, so I work 5 days a week. I try to stay within a normal 8 hours, but I'm gonna be honest, I do 16 hours, 17 hours easy. I do not do my own digitizing. I think it's pointless when you have some great digitizers out there that will charge you anywhere from, single dollars up to $10, $15 when you're doing bulk like we're doing.
Mhm.
It's pointless to me to do your own digitizing. It's just that doesn't make any sense because the digitizing can make or break you. For example, we've got a great digitizer. No, I'm not going to give his information out, but at the end of the day, he can do slick stuff like this. It's hard to get a gradient done in a embroidery. A lot of times you see the gradients done in vector, which we do some hats. I'm about to take you on the other side of the room and show you that. But
Nice.
that's the key. Um, Transitioning to the second part of my business, I started off with the Luminaris 200. You can kind of see it back there. Um, Luminaris. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I didn't buy a DTF machine like you. I just was like, man, I'm not sure if that's gonna be the way to go.
Yeah.
Um, Let me buy these paper. Let me buy this paper, this 8.5 by 11. Let me try to do the Marion process. It works. It's a technique. It works. But if you're just doing, say, 10, 15 shirts, that's great. But again, I play with numbers, and the money is done in bulk, in bulk, in bulk. So at the end of the day, we tried the DTG machine. Shout out to Ricoma, by the way, because Ricoma has been my partner since day one. And the reason I use Ricoma, honestly, I'm gonna give you the credit so no one can take it from you. It's because of you, bro. When I got into the machine, my buddy in Baltimore told me about an opportunity. We did it together, and he had a Ricoma machine, six head, and I googled Ricoma six head embroidery machine, and you were the first one to show up on YouTube.
That's
So
crazy. Yeah, six.
I I watched every last video you had to the point where at the time I was driving my wife crazy because at 2 in the morning I was watching videos. I was watching videos. I was watching videos. I was watching videos. Did I say I was watching videos? I was watching videos.
So you
So
did a whole lot of research.
I did a lot of research, man, a lot of time. So the DTG I think is great. Direct to garment is great. I didn't have the business line to support it. It didn't make sense for my business. So we upgraded and moved to DTF, particularly after I learned how to work the Linares 200. It just made sense. This just got installed last week. Shout out to Ricoma again, who sent their rep here to train me. I was adamant about making sure we were trained properly, but the end result, it's helped me with my online store orders. It's helped me with my left chest stuff. I mean, we're rolling with it. I got 56 t-shirts to finish today, left chest. This machine, man, is awesome. I'm so happy with it. And I'm
Right.
not just pumping them. I'm not pumping them, but I'm so happy with it. You need your PC. At the end of the day, what I do like, what they just released the ability to use Vivid Rip software. So the Vivid Rip software that you use for Linares 200, it now has an update for the Revel 2400.
Okay.
Awesome. So this technology works so that you print out full color prints, right? This heats up. I do keep an eye on my humidifier. The powder dumps on the wet ink. It comes into this section here where the powder dumps. There's a roller, there's a flapper that dumps off the extra powder. The vacuum seal's here. Turn that off so you can hear me. The vacuum seal is here. The heater's here. It comes through, heats it up. The fan cools it. It rolls it up. Look at the color, man. Look at the color, man. In
Yeah.
living color, man.
Right, right.
I, I had a customer come last week and he was talking to me about screen print. No disrespect to screen print, but I don't do screen printing and I don't feel like I need to in this instance, especially with full color stuff. I showed him these images and the guy was like, "Man, this is incredible. This is
Right.
incredible. This is on the shirt.
Yeah.
Just incredible, the colors." And when you use the Vivid Rip software, it made a whole lot of difference over the Flex Rip. It just made a whole lot of difference.
Okay.
So that's kind of my business, man. Shout out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Keep
Amen.
me blessed. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me every single day. So that's what we do in this shop. We got a couple heat presses, hat presses.
Mm,
It's a little crazy in here. I did get into sublimation, so we've done some stuff for autism in DC at the National Children's Center. There's
mm.
lots that we do, man. These are promotional events. So we got an event in Philly in your area for
Oh,
motorcycles this week. So shout out to Team Money Cycles.
okay.
This is varsity jackets that we'll be doing a sale for and backpacks. We got a
So,
sales table going on, so that's what we're running right now.
so, how between the time you started custom apparel to where you are right now, how long did it take your business? How long did it take you to grow to acquire all these machines?
Ooh, man, to be honest with you, I got in the business late October of last year.
Okay.
Late October, I
Yeah.
went to the Ricoma Deco Summit, which, man, the Deco Summit is like a candy store for a kid.
Right. For adults. For adults.
Right, for adults, for adults. So you can do this deal a couple different ways. As you
That's
know, you can.
that's where we first met.
Yep, we
Yeah.
sure did. We sure did. You and myself and my buddy Theo from Baltimore. Shout out to Thread Chasers. That's his business in
Yeah.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
He's really the one that pushed me to get in this. But at the end of the day, a little over a year, we acquired all of this stuff, man, and just grinding. And I just kept reinvesting. You can do the deal a couple different ways. I was fortunate that I had another company that I ran that basically is an umbrella. It was the financier for this company, so I'm thankful that I had my other company running because it does turn into a write off. So you want to be smart about your taxes. You want to be smart about how you do your equipment leases and stuff like that. I would advise people to look at that. Um, as long as you have the business coming in to support the payment, it makes sense because it's a write off. It also keeps you hustling.
100%.
so so when you know you got that on your back, you got to work every day. Every opportunity is a new opportunity. One of my sayings is every morning, 10 toes on the flow. Yes, I said flow. 10 toes on the flow. Put it on my back. I got it because God told me so.
Amen. Yo, so so for somebody starting off, I'm gonna ask this question real fast in the audience. When somebody wants to know, Isaiah B wants to know if you're starting off right now, what machine would you start off with? And that's, I know that's a tough question because it all depends on the person. But if you're starting off right now, what machine would you recommend somebody start off with?
That's a great question, man. And I think I have the answer because I've helped two of my good buddies get into the business recently.
Hmm.
If you can afford it, what I would start off with, I would start off with a white toner printer. I would start off with a heat press, 16 by 20.
Hmm.
I would start off with a two-head embroidery machine. Why? Because you could take the two-head, and if you can afford the three, go with the three. But if you can take the two-head and turn that into a single. So if you're gonna do a sweatsuit, like we do quite a few sweatsuits. But if you're gonna do a sweatsuit, right? You're gonna do a top and a bottom. It takes 15 minutes to do. Put the top left chest on the two head left side. Put the bottom pants by the pocket on the right side. You know what I mean? Take the white toner, make yourself a transfer sheet like this with your logo. Put it on the back of the shirt for your tag. Boom, you winning. You winning. So the heat press will keep you in the business for anything up to 10 inches in size. The embroidery machine, you could run it as two, you could run it as one. Again, play with the numbers, y'all. Play with the numbers. It's all about numbers in this business. I enjoy and I certainly appreciate the crafters that are out there, but the crafters ain't gonna make you $1 million. I'm being honest. You
100%.
can't
Like
you can't
there's
make $1 million off of a one single head. You can't do it. I play with the numbers. You can't.
right.
Show me.
That's what I tell people. It's like I always, when I'm making videos, I always tell people this, you can start a business with this, but the money we really want to get to is when you scale up and you get more heads and things like that. I always say,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
One of the things that I started focusing on just recently is exactly that, the scaling up. Shout out to my daughter, 20 years old, Alexis J. Morgan. Check her out on Instagram. 20 years old. She scales businesses out of Atlanta. And
mm,
she's the one that really pushed me recently. She's like, Daddy, you got to get the online store going. You got to get the online store going. And that was almost a month ago. She pushed me. And then I started doing the online stuff. And then before you know it, man, I'm in the bed selling varsity jackets. 175 a pop. And it's coming through. It's coming through. And I'm like, oh my goodness, these jackets is rolling, and I had
amazing.
no clue. And the digitizing's done. You put that on your single head, let it run while you doing your bulk work on the other machines. It's easy money to get. You gotta keep pushing. You gotta
Okay.
keep pushing.
Now, how do you what are some ways, or one or a few ways that you would recommend that people that are starting off find business or get business for to to get them having an income coming?
That's a great question. And I think you start with your family. And I know people say that's leave family alone, but family is your number one supporters.
Hmm.
So in my case, I reached out to my sister. At the time I reached out, my wife, her sister ordered shirts. Then we went to our church. Then we went to the churches. So you reach out to your comfort zone because your comfort zone is going to be forgiving. Your
Hmm.
comfort zone,
Are you learning? Are you
your
learning?
comfort zone. Yeah, they're gonna want a deal. And you can't get rich off everybody quick, but you hook them up because you're just learning. It's the learning curve.
Right.
So you
While you're inexperienced, that's when you give people deals and you work with people. You can't expect to charge people top dollar if you don't even know what you're doing.
Yes, man.
Right.
Yes, yes, yes. So you got to do that So reach out to your family, reach out to your network, man, and your friends. Everybody has a saying, everybody has a logo, everybody's got a new business. And there's some people that have businesses that don't even have shirts. So go after that. Don't try to hit them in the head. Give them a shirt for 14, $15.
100%.
Go.
So crafty Puerto Rican said white toners have gotten a bad rap, and that's true because earlier when they first came out, a lot of influencers were making videos on white toners, and I can attest to that they weren't making videos that were accurate and represented the full capabilities of white toners. She asked, "Can you please talk more about the white toners, please?" So I'm gonna let you start off, and I'm gonna add to it.
Well, I struggle too with white toner, and I'm going to tell you what I have learned. There's lots of papers out there. I happen to buy the Luminaris 200. Stick with the brand paper who makes the machine. That's just my experience. So when I had to call Ricoma and get the paper, I tried paper from other places, garment printer. It just didn't do the same.
Hmm.
And the other thing I had to learn was you got to learn your time and pressure. These Ricoma presses, they're okay. I got to get a different one because the clamshell is cool in some applications. But when you're doing white toner, you really want the one that collapses
Hmm.
straight down
Right,
because the pressure can be different back here
right.
versus up here.
Yep.
That's what I learned. But I've
Yep.
learned how to perfect it and work with it.
Hmm.
So um, you can't always go by what they tell you to set it at. That's a starting block. But
Right.
time and pressure, and then the way you peel it is important. I've had great success with white toner, and we still got it rolling today. At the end of the day, it's faster. It's actually faster when you do the process than that other machine that I have, the DTF. But if you're doing bulk, this is the way to go. But if you're doing like 10 or 15 pieces, the white toner's fine.
Hmm.
It's white tone. The white tone is fine.
Have you, out of all the customers that you get, because clearly you get a lot of customers, how many people, if any, have complained about the way the your shirts feel or the process, the white toner transfer shirts feel? Has anybody complained?
Absolutely zero. And I say that because the customer doesn't understand rasterizing. They don't understand that. They understand when a color image looks vivid. They understand that. And then when you look at it, you see we do a second press with T seal, which causes it to go down in. I like T seal on my second press because it goes down in the image a little better, and then you can actually see the print of the material inside the print. To me,
And
that's quality.
right, 100%.
So the other thing that's important, and I'm big on this, is educate your customer. They don't know. They're hearing what they read, they're hearing what heard from somebody else. Educate them on the process of how it's done. So when they get the price, they understand white toner, this is what we gotta do. This is
Right.
what we gotta do to make you a white toner print.
Hmm.
This is how many washes you can get out of it. So make yourself a white toner and wash the hell out of it yourself so you can understand how it's going to react to the dryer, how it's going to react to different detergents. Do that. I did that.
When
That's
you
so
did that,
important.
what was your experience?
My experience is 20 to 25 true washes, to be honest with you, before I saw a difference with white toner.
Okay.
But I'm a hip you to something I learned, right?
Okay. Yep.
So when I was making white toner shirts, right? People are making these unique shirts, and guess what they want to do? They want to go online and let's take a picture. Screenshot, let's take a picture. And
Right.
I'm gonna post that picture on what? Instagram, on TikTok. You
Right.
think I'm gonna wear that shirt again on just TikTok
That
or Instagram? Nope.
that
So if you can understand that market, you don't have to sell a high-end t-shirt every single time for
right.
that customer. You got to understand what their needs are and understand what their goals are. And if their goal is to hand them out for event shirts, why buy the Bella shirt? I like Bella. It's one of my favorites. But you
Right.
can get away with the gilding.
A lot of the times, I think in garment decorating specifically, a lot of influencers and a lot of people get online and make videos and they make pointless points.
Hmm.
Like for example, I always say, what machine do you want to use, or how many washes? And people think, oh, I can get 100 washes out of this. realistically speaking, out of all the clothes that you have, who cares if you can get 100 washes out of it? 20 washes is more than sufficient
So a
for my,
hundred washes. Think about what we're saying. 100 washes, right? I told you I play with numbers. It's 52 weeks in a year,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
4.33 average weeks in a month. You gonna wear that shirt once every other week, maybe? You ain't gonna be seen in the same outfit.
Most people will wear it online. You know, a lot of women will wear it online, and then they don't ever want to. They don't ever want to see it again. Me, I
Yeah,
don't care. I wear my stuff, back to back. I don't care. Not back to back. No, I don't care. But what we're trying to say is, you get the amount of washes that's sufficient enough to justify the purchase. You know what I mean? It really it's really insignificant when by the time the shirt starts to break down, the
yeah,
image, the person got their money out of it already, and they don't really care about the shirt anymore. To be honest,
absolutely. If
So
you want to sell a high end shirt, then get yourself a high end, high thread count T-shirt that's nice quality on the Neiman Marcus level, and
100%.
and embroider it, and then make, as Keith Sweat says, make it last forever.
out of
That's
all
what you offer.
out of all equipment that you got embroidery, you got DTF added, you got white toner, you have sublimation. What equipment do you enjoy working with the most? Because I know that's important as when it comes to business. You have to enjoy what you do. What equipment do you enjoy working with the most?
This is my baby right here, and maybe it's because it was my first machine. But this machine, I don't even know numbers like that. But this is the
It's the CH.
CHT2 1506W. When I tell you, she got a thread break, so that's what she's doing. When I tell you this machine on a commercial level, I like the 20 needle, but do I need 20 needles? No. I'm gonna change them out anyway. I like this because it's good for one offs. I do a lot of sew outs for my customers. Sew out is included in my digitizing fee. So we
Mm-hmm.
do sew outs on everything. I'm not going to ruin a garment by stitching on it one time and not chilling sew out. But if you ask me my favorite machine, maybe it's because it was my first. This is it. This is my favorite machine. But I will say my second favorite is the new machine that I just got trained on, and that's the DTF, because I think this machine is going to make significant dollars for me in my business. Significant.
I'd
When
have
I looked at the cost of a roll of paper, and I looked at what powder costs, and I looked at what the ink costs, at the end of the day, I did the math on that. You take that roll of paper, which is 325 feet, divide it by 3 for yards, come up with your yard price, factor in about 40 cents per print for powder and stuff. When you do the math on that and you figure out what you can charge on selling transfers to people, I don't have to touch nothing, take it off the roll and let me sell. I learned that game from you, champ. But at the end of the day, that makes perfect sense. I'm making money while I sleep. Send me the image. Make sure it's already ready to go. If I got to do the artwork to it, I'm gonna charge you because that's my time. But at
right
the end of the day, send me the image. I'm gonna print it out. I'm gonna put it on a roll. I'm gonna send it. In the meantime, I'm gonna make my own shirts in house too.
now. Um,
Mhm.
in this business, especially as an influencer, I think it's my obligation to tell people the precautions about specific machines, and I just want to tell people just for a second and talk about white. I mean, I'll talk about DTF for just a second. When
Sure.
dealing with DTF, one thing that I don't think is emphasized enough in the industry is people talking about how harmful I think DTF is. I think that ventilation is very, very important, and you cannot be not over caution, be too cautious. Pause for a second. Am I
Yeah.
back? Okay.
Yeah. You back.
You cannot take too much precaution when it comes to working with a DTF printer because of the fumes that are associated with it. And I was talking to Anderson the other day, telling him that even with the ventilation that comes with the DTF machine, I don't think it's enough. And I think we should really, really, if you plan on getting into DTF, really, really be cautious and really make sure you have the best ventilation you can. Make sure you open window when you run it. Make sure you're venting it outside, and make sure you have, everything, every precaution you can take. Just take it because
Right.
it's still new, and a lot of the places where these machines come from, there's no U.S. laws protecting us or anything like that. So
Yeah.
we want to make money. We want to run our businesses. We want to have successful businesses. But at the end of the day, our lives are more important than anything. Because
Yeah.
if you're sick, then what are you going to do? So I think that's
And that's so key. One of the things that I called you about, and this is my second day, man, this powder is so fine.
fine.
It's so fine. And yes, we have the ventilation system from Ricoma that it comes, but it only pulls from the heated section. But when it's flapping the excess off, it's
Mhm.
still fumes that come up. So I'm thinking about putting rubber sealing around mine just to help keep those powders in here, and maybe it'll come into this area and get vacuumed up better. But I called you because, like, man, I'm sniffling today. I feel like I got a dirty nose. And
Yeah,
the first thing you asked me about was ventilation. So as of today, we started using the K95 mask because I had a whole bunch of them left.
right.
But I also have the ventilation mask because we use that in my motorcycle shop when we powder coating also. But you
Right.
got to do that because you'll start to feel it. And you're right. We have to be careful, man. We got to take care of our bodies.
100%. 100%. All
Yep.
right. So
So
you said,
I got a question for you though.
uh huh.
Um, because I've been watching you grow like crazy. From the living room to the business to one machine, two machine, three potato, four potato, from employee to employee to the store to one DTF to two DTFs, and I think you might have a third one, but you ain't telling nobody yet. But you always on some sneak stuff. So, which your thought, and where do you see the market going between like DTF, DTG? What do you see the place at for those? What do you see?
I think that every single machine has its place. I think that right now, obviously, DTF is still a new technology. I think the machines are going to do nothing but get better. I think that even though some people don't like DTG is not going yet. The not going yet, and it's still relevant because there's feel that DTG has that DTF does not have. I feel like white toner is great. I feel like screen print is great. I feel like screen printing is going to evolve more. Um, Screen printing and DTG is going to do something together,
Mm,
and I think in the near future, screen printing and DTF is going to be like more kind of like merged together. I feel it's going to happen, and I see how it's going to happen because I have a few pieces of equipment that are like merging it together, like the
yeah.
Go General, the GoPro Pro. It's a fast way to make screens, and
Mm,
I think the industries were headed in the right direction. And they're making things more affordable and more helping the average consumer make it easier to start a business and put money in our pocket, which is what we need. We need a easier
yep.
way, you know.
Absolutely. I think one of the things why I stayed away from screen print was just having to burn screens, and then you got to carry the different inks. But I do think there's some value in black shirts with just a white screen on them instead of running them here on a DTF. Definitely instead of doing on a white toner, if you were just doing a solid color, if somebody could make a machine that was simple like that, and I think somebody's working on something maybe, but a solid color with a small footprint, because my shop's not big at all, man. I don't have a spot to put that big spider thing that spins around and deal with the inks. And honestly, I ain't trying to do that. I ain't trying to work that hard because the DTF is going to give me a full color picture with gradients where I couldn't see you doing that with a screen print. So I didn't see the value there, but I do see it if you're just doing, for example, a shirt like this where you're just doing this.
Mhm.
That's it. And this
Now,
is sometimes simple is good.
now I'm gonna stop you right there, Anderson, for a second there. My screen printer's
Go
up.
ahead.
Now, you're right with everything you said, but I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, based off my experience, all the people watching this video, and based off of me doing things. Um, when it comes that specific shirt that you have on right there, if somebody orders 100, 150, 200, even 50, nothing's gonna be faster than a screen print machine, bro. I'm be honest with you.
Faster
When it,
than screen printing?
when it comes to getting it, when it comes to the blank shirt, the product, nothing is faster than screen. I'm gonna tell you why. If you if you prepare your screens a certain way with my Pro device, it burns the screen real like way faster than the traditional way. And if you think about the process, you got one screen and it's one color, boom, push, push again maybe, or push, dry,
Hmm.
push the next one. If you have even if you have a four station screen printing machine, you take that off, put it through the dryer. It's faster than that. Even when it comes to DPS, you got to make the DPS, right. You got
So
to
you
make
have so you have a setup then.
yeah. So let me show you. So traditionally, people would have to coat a screen, let that emulsion dry, and then you have to burn the screen with a machine. Wash the screen out. That's the whole process within itself. But with this machine right here that I have, this machine right here, you can do that whole process in maybe 4 minutes, right? From your computer
Okay.
to a burnt screen. And if you have to stretch the screen also, maybe to put 10 minutes total. And then you're up and running on your press. And when you're pressing shirts, you can get like nice gradients and stuff. And the feel on this, sorry, the feel on this, I heat pressed this and it pressed everything down. It's super soft. It's super soft and super matte. But when it comes to production, boom, next, right? Or maybe next shirt, right? There's nothing faster than that, bro. There's nothing faster when it comes to
I would I would I would I so I know, right? I know I know you a diehard Eagles fan. I know you are. And
okay.
I lost the bet with you. I was supposed to come up there. I lost the bet. I'm supposed to come up there because the Commanders, we got a new control system in place. We gonna get it together, like Deion Sanders. They gonna get it together sooner or later. God ain't gonna fail us. But at the end of the day,
Don't
we
forget
lost.
it. Don't
But
forget it.
but I would
Don't
be
do that.
willing to. I would be. I would be willing to bet with you that this machine that I have, when they say 100 prints in an hour, is true to game. I'm telling you,
All right,
I'm
now
not
listen.
selling this machine.
a
Go
hundred
ahead.
prints in an hour. That's prints. You still have to press it onto a shirt, so that's not a finished garment. That right there,
Right. So I'm
that can
just
probably complete 100 shirts in a half an hour. Put the right screen printer on.
I have to. I'm from the show me state. I would have to see it because Alan, once I print this, I'm boom, I'm boom.
Bro,
And
bro.
hold on. Let me pick my nose. Let me turn around in a circle real quick. Oh yeah, those look good, man. I like the way that look. Yeah, it's gonna come out just like that. We straight. Oh, it's beeping. It's time for me to put my hand on the clamshell. Hold on. Oh, right there. Oh, slide that to the side. Boom. Ooh,
That's that's
ooh,
too long. That's
ooh,
too long. That's
ooh.
too long.
That's
That's too
15
long.
seconds. And
Yeah.
okay, I would have
That's
to see you
but wait,
next time
wait,
you get a 24-piece order. When you
but
get a
wait,
24-piece order, we're gonna put it up.
bro. I'm gonna tell you why what you just demonstrated right there. It's not the whole accurate truth, right? So listen, let me break let me break it down to you, right?
The prints are already made. You're gonna spend the same
No,
time making
no,
that
no, no.
screen setup. You're gonna
Nope.
set up.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Because for my once my screen is set up for every single shirt. My screen setup is the equivalent of you having to wait for that machine to print out each each thing, right? I only
Right?
got to do that once. Your machine has to print out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 100 or 50 or something like that. I do that once for screen printing once. So already you lost.
Until I show you this, because a screen print can't do that. As
Yes,
my
it
man
can.
said, hey, look, as my man says, got him,
All right.
got him.
Listen. Yes, a screen printing machine can do that. Can I do that? No, I can't do that. Can I do that on a screen print machine? No. But a screen print machine can definitely do that. It can definitely do that. Now, I'm not capable of doing that. I can't do those separations. I can't come up with that artwork. I don't even have enough um, colors on that. I can't do that. But a screen printing machine can do that. But yeah, you got me on that. Like my
But if we was doing two colors, you probably would burn me on two colors
because you only got to lay the shirt down.
one time.
Next, next. It's it's. I'm not gonna steer
So
people
let
wrong.
me ask this. So let's ask this question, right? Because it really comes down to dollars and cents for me. I'm
Right.
not in business for free. I'm not in business to make crafty. I'm in business to feed my family, right? And
Right.
create a legacy and
Right.
help other people feed their families that work here. So at the end of the day, from a business standpoint, dollars and cents, is it more profitable to do the screen printing if you have something like a three color like this? This is simple. That would be a screen print. Is it more profitable to do it that way, or is it more profitable to do the DTF on that particular concept? Not where it's full color like I just showed you.
For that specific one, you're doing volume for that specific shirt, and you have to have a GoCo Pro. You
Okay.
use the traditional way. If you burn your screen the traditional way, it's definitely not worth it. But if there's a
Right.
fast way to burn the screen, like with this frame right here, I can strip on the screen in like 4 minutes. Right? I can go from here to here and have a brand blank screen and
Right.
burn this image on the screen in about 3 minutes, and I'm ready to go for 200 shirts with
I
just this,
got you.
right?
So
Now,
that may make sense
now,
totally for your bulk stuff, right?
now
If you get
if it's a two color, the machine is going to burn the one color right from my computer. It's going to burn the one color on this screen, and it's going to burn the other color on this screen. When I put them both on the arm, it's going to line up already because because
mm,
the machine burnt it in the same exact spot on the screen, right? Now I just have to register for the machine. But then after that's set up, sure, sure.
okay,
I mean,
so I do think there's some value in that, right? Because if I got 100 shirts to do, there's a lot of value in that. And the flip side is if you have, say, you do 100 shirts out the break for DTF, right? But
yeah.
then you put after you sell them the 100 shirts, I then create an online store so the rest of the people that come on board later can buy them. You can do that. We can keep our DTFs for later. Shout
Uh,
out to you for printing
remember,
those. Shout out to you for printing those when I didn't have a DTF printer. Thank you, sir. But at the end of the day, you can
uh,
put those in the drawer.
right.
So there is some. I think there's value in both of those, as you stated, because if I had 100 shirts to do and I could do them the way you said, and
Mhm.
they're not a full color image, that makes sense.
I think
But then
people.
if I have 100 shirts to do the other way, I can save my DTFs for later.
I think people also need to know that you can do DCFs on the screen.
Right.
It's the same concept. Instead of squeegeeing onto a shirt, you're squeegeeing onto a film. On
Right.
it's more like a parchment paper, and then you run that through the
Hmm.
machine. You add the powder to it, and you got it. Yeah, but it's just like
Right.
any all methods, like CTR shirt says, all methods have value and have a place. But your setup right there, I think ideal. I think it's official. I think it's you're gonna make a whole lot of money. You're gonna continue to make a whole lot of money. You're gonna continue to grow. But there's always another technology that's out. There's always a way that you can get things done faster. But I think you got everything covered over there. I'm very very proud of you.
Man, thank you. And before we go, all seriousness, man, I'm very thankful to God for the opportunities that I've had. Um, and one of the things I have to say is be ready for opportunities. So practice, practice, practice. As Allen Iverson said out of y'all state. Practice, yeah, we talking about practice. So practice with your family, practice with your friends, practice, practice, practice. So when your big opportunity comes, you're gonna knock it out the park and be ready. The second thing is, man, I really want to give you your flowers while you here and while you deserve it, because I would not have been as knowledgeable, I would not have been as comfortable if I wasn't able to watch your YouTube videos, if I wasn't able to actually see you do it. And then the person that you are, bro, every time I call you, you answer the phone and you help me. And if you couldn't take the call, you always called me back and you sent me videos or links. I appreciate you. If nobody else tells you that, I would not be at the level that I'm at if it hadn't been for you to show me some techniques and some tips. And Ricoma need to cut you a bigger check.
Oh,
Henry, cut him a bigger check and then
let's
cut
go.
me a piece.
Right. Let's go through some questions real fast that some people had. All of you starting right now. Late October. Let me find some questions. So somebody asked, have you ever done white toner on hats?
No,
Okay, I've done
I,
white toner.
I I've only done embroidery of hats.
Mm,
My first experience with heat pressing hats was 2 days ago, and I think it turned out pretty good. I bought some foam hats. That was
mm.
my first experience, but this is my game right here all
And
day. Embroidery.
and that's
Yeah.
DT that you pressed onto the hat, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
I
I've
would
done.
imagine the process is the same though, right? Or
Yeah,
you can speak to it.
yeah. It's the same. Yeah, it's close, very close.
Hmm.
Uh, White toner, it's a cold peel, and yeah, but it's pretty close, and you get a good look. But like I said, you're gonna do that, and it would behoove you better for you to get that the what is the Stalls hat that heats up from the bottom platen.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
that's
nice,
where
man. I saw that.
that's where
I
the
saw that. That's really nice.
tip is in the back, so it makes sense to heat up the back more so than the top.
Is that
Uh,
the same one that allows you to do the bottom right here? Because that was a cool idea to be able to
no,
print
that's different.
DTF right here.
The one that
Okay.
I'm talking about is this right here. So this right here, the top platen heats up, and the bottom platen heats up, and
Mm,
you can adjust the you can adjust the temperature separately.
nice.
Whatever the
Nice.
bottom, it's not even plugged in yet. I was going to turn it on. It's not plugged in. But yeah, you have a temperature that you can adjust at the top, and you have a temperature that you can adjust at the bottom. So you can put this on low and this on high, and
Mm.
whatever number you want. So that way the adhesive heats up from the bottom. All right. Shout out to Fusion IQ installs for
I
making
could
something.
only imagine that in being in trying to do patches on hats.
Hmm.
I can imagine that there's significant value in that one because you want to heat up from the backside where the glue is, but
Yeah.
you don't want to be too hot from the top and burn and scorch the top of the hat. So I see a lot of value in that. It's probably going to cost you 2 stacks to get that, but but at the end of the day,
Close.
there's a lot of value
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah. It's a little bit under 2,000. But now that everything's going up, it might be 2,000. I don't know. But
Yeah.
okay. Next question. Have you worked on hats? Somebody asked. Uh, mm, let me see. Somebody asked, impossible off the top. Let me see if I remember the question. Somebody asked, what is a cheap two-head DTF machine that you can buy for under $10,000? Let me start this off, Anderson.
Mm,
A cheap DTF that you can buy for under $10,000. I would say in the United States, nothing like that exists. And arguably, I'd like to encourage people to, how can I say this? Just spend the money once, so you won't end up getting something that you wasted your money on,
yeah,
right?
bro.
If you want to get if you want to get a two head, just spend the money that it costs to get a two head. You're asking for this much, but your budget is this much, right?
Right.
You have to do is you have to get something in your budget and work your way up to that bigger one that you got. Everything is not every stuff doesn't happen like that. If it was like that, everybody would have the best equipment. You have to start where you're at with a budget that makes sense in your pockets and use the money within your business to work your way up to that two-head ETF machine.
Right.
Because right now you're asking for something that's like impossible. If it is possible, you're going to get a crappy machine and you're going to complain about, oh, the head's leaking or this is getting clogged up because your
Yeah.
budget. didn't match what you were asking for. All right,
Yeah.
so you can
So my thing to that, I think you're spot on. I would spin it a little different and say you get what you pay for, and that statement that people say is true. And I can tell you, and I'm not publicizing the Ricoma folks, but you get what you pay for. If there's an issue, if there's a problem, their customer service, you have issues sometime in trying to get through, but when they get through to you, they're able to FaceTime you, help you with the product. That's part of what you're paying for. And if you're not at a point where you can buy a huge DTF machine, make sure your business can support it. Everybody wants big, but you don't really need big right now when you're just starting. Start with the white toner printer if you can. Make it work, learn how to use it, and then call guys like Alan and myself and say, hey, man, I got a business. This is my business. I'm going to be doing bulk transfers. I can't do anything larger than 10 inches. I need your support in being able to print images for me that are larger until I can get to the place where I can afford the big machine. That's how you and I connected. That's what we did because I couldn't afford the machine when I first started, nor did I have the work to justify it. But you get what you pay for. And I think Epson is the leader in print heads. This is the i3200 head on this machine. And if you go Google the i3200, there's plenty of parts available. There's lots of service available, and there's lots of inks that you can use that work with that printer head. So do your research, y'all, and make sure the business can support it. We all want the Maybach, but if you don't have the income to support the Maybach, you're gonna look good for the first 2 3 months. But
go.
here's where the issue comes in. When it's time to take it in for maintenance, and
That's
you
it.
got to get that oil change, and they
That's
tell you $3,400 for an oil
right.
change, you're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm out.
Right.
Y'all can
Right.
have that. Y'all can have that right there."
Yeah, a lot like the ink costs and things like that. But I think like that's really like people that aren't making money to justify it, because like the cost of for this stuff, if you're making money using it, is so minute it doesn't make sense. You know how much thread.
Support the guys that are already printing DTF transfers for you. And the reason I say that is we get so lost on equipment all the time. The truth be told, if you gave me a regular embroidery machine from anybody else, because I understand tension, because I understand bobbin, because I understand the different thread thicknesses, because I understand different needles, 75, 11, 69, whatever, I understand all of that. I took time to understand that. Thank you, Alan, because you pushed me to do that before I learned how to buy a machine. If you understand that, you can walk up to any machine and say that tension's off. That bobbin is showing. It needs to be tightened up. That thing's got bunny ears. It's too much. If you understand the basics of embroidery, you can use any machine. Ricoma's affordable. They're not at the high end. They're not at the bottom. The service is good. I've not used any other machines, so I can't speak for anything else. But at the end of the day, focus on the trade and focus on the business. We ain't in this free.
Wait, you went out. You went out. You went out. We can't
At
hear
the
you.
end of the Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
There it is. If you're doing this to make money, at the end of the day,
What happened to your video?
um, okay, there you go. Can you
No,
hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can't see you though. But I don't know what happened. You got a call, I guess. But your
Yeah,
video,
they keep calling back to back. Okay, did it freeze?
it's just gone. You're just black. It's black.
Oh,
But it's okay. We keep on going.
but my point is, if you're
Yeah,
in this to make money, focus on making the money. Don't go out and try to focus on learning buy all these machines and not be ready to handle it because you're gonna get frustrated and be out of business soon.
yeah,
Sub it out. Sub it out to the and use the small guys. I think there's great work out of the big companies that do transfers, but the small guy gonna pick up the phone and help you when you got a problem.
100%.
Guy gonna
You must be getting a call again.
being
They
able to help you do that.
right, right. So, Anderson, I'd like to thank you for coming on the live, man. I see you have a lot of business coming in. You got some phone calls that you can't get away from. So, I thank you for coming on this live with me. I appreciate it. I want to thank you also for answering a few questions, and also emphasizing some of the things I always tell people. It all depends on how much money you're willing to pay to embroider the same design. And I don't know whether people not, but I'm like, if you get whatever machine, if you embroider the same design, customers not really not care what machine. No customer ever says, "What machine was that embroidered on?" Or "What piece
They don't.
was it on?" or you know, what I mean, is that white toner? Just no, no, no. They just want their image to look good, and that's really all. Most of the time they care about for the most part,
That's it. That's
especially.
it. Understand the numbers, bro. Understand the numbers.
Right,
If
I
you
think
don't understand the numbers, you're gonna be out of business.
yeah, I think most of the time people confuse whether you're trying brand versus whether you're doing, you know, RIP shirts or, you know, graduation shirts and stuff like that. You're not going to wear a lot. And that's the business that we want. If you want to get significant money and you are, I gotta be careful how I say that, starting a custom apparel decorating business and you want to move bulk, right? And those types of businesses, uh, people don't wear those shirts that often. It's more of a nostalgic thing. Like if you get a rest in peace shirt, you might wear it on the day of a funeral or something like that, or the repast or something like that. And then
Right.
that's what you keep. You don't wear it all the time, or if you do, you wear it in the house, right? So it's more of a nostalgia type of thing. So if you're a brand that's different, you want to look for quality. You want to put on a quality shirt, and you want to look for the best printing that your money can buy. That's a totally different conversation. But for the most part, nobody really cares about having top line equipment, right?
They
Like
don't.
if they go into your shop and they see an embroidery machine, they're impressed about whatever machine they have. It doesn't matter what brand it is. They see an embroidery machine with a lot of needles and threads. They don't care about the name on it, you know. So spend
Absolutely.
wisely, and like Anderson said, make sure you're taking your time and you are equipment and how to use your equipment, and you'll be in good shape. It's a shame your video.
Absolutely.
You want to take a look at your stuff again.
I was trying to show you. I don't know what happened to my video. You can still hear me though.
Yeah, the crafty Puerto Rican. What's the largest size the Luminaris white printer can print out? I think that's 8.5 by 11. Anderson, you can chime in on
Yeah,
that.
that's 8.5 by 11, but you probably want to shave it down a half inch to be safe on both sides.
Right. So that's the largest, the white tone.
And
White tone.
when you think about it, that's safe. That's safe on extra small all the way up to a large. You can make
Right.
it work.
Yeah, yeah.
That's safe.
And think of white toner like the one guy asked, can you put on? Think of white toner. You think of hats. You think of left chest and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And you think of also um, logos going the long, right? Because you can flip that sideways and you can take up the full chest, right? So not necessarily big images, but think of Philadelphia, Washington, athletic, athlete, right? That goes full, but you can turn it sideways, so it doesn't matter how wide long the design is. You can still print it sideways, and then you can long as possible
Absolutely.
across the extra large or triple. So that's one of the things a lot of people don't think about. All right.
Absolutely.
Um.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Cool.
guys, thank you so much for joining us live. Give this video a thumbs up, and Anderson, again, drop your stuff so people can find you if
Yeah,
they want.
inst- I primarily post on Instagram stories and reels and everyday work that we're doing. It is the Morgan MorganGrp as in group. So the Morgan Group. You'll see our little logo there. It says my name in it. I appreciate everything, man. I thank you for having me on this call. My prayer is that everything you touch will turn to gold and that God will continue to bless you and bless everybody who supports you and takes the time to go out their way to spend money with the small businessman, that your business will grow exponentially. God bless and be easy.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. All right, guys, talk to
Peace.
you later. God bless you and your
All right.
boy. Later.
You too.